Okay, last we left off, I was very angry because my best friend died, and I guess we're going to start with episode 3, investigation part 1, the adventure of the runaway room. Oh, runaway room? Wait, I just realized, what the fuck?
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter.
Winter is great.
A murder
I fucking hate
in
summer.
a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
Oh shit. What the fuck?
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Wait, is this... Are they talking about us? Oh. Oh, anime cutscene. I'm always excited for these.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
Zato has a really British accent.
And look at all the steam locomotives.
Even Naruto.
This country is incredible.
I don't know, I don't know if this is a rumor or if this is true or something, but I did hear that the voice actors are like Japanese / British as well. So maybe that's why. That's great though. It kind of suits the
I feel
characters.
like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome.
I always
to
think
the
about how
centre of the
living in
world,
this kind of era
Great
would be.
Britain's mighty capital, London.
Because right now it's so different. I'm like, it would have been interesting to live in a time like that. Maybe not the wars, but just like the culture during that time. Oh shit. 18th February, 9:21 AM. British Supreme Court. Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Chief. My god, that's a... Also, are they in like the... Oh my god, Big Ben? Inside Big Ben? What an incredible place. So imposing, it's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course, but they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. Wait, they used to use paper to build buildings? That's... Now I need to see that. What is that? It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just the construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity, as envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. and having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So we'll have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, we have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. This is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. That's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Oh shit. Oh, I trust you aren't too exhausted after a long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we are standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate. The introductions. I am Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. I have a theory. He's gonna be the big bad guy in the end. Because I feel like, I don't know, this aesthetic reminds me of Gant as well. Like, I don't know, there's something about, maybe he might just be a good person and I'm just fucking it up and like making assumptions of him when he hasn't even spoken like few words. But like imposing figures like this, I'm like, I'm so sus of them because like, I think he's guilty. He'll either be like one of the final bosses or like right before the final boss, some villainous character. Again, I feel a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. So, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Renosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Ah, yes, thank you. Okay. Can I examine? Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. I believe they're suits of armor. Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know. Really? And they roam around in the middle of the night. Really? Is there nothing you don't know about, Mr. Sato? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get that incredible tome? Okay, this is done. Let's look at this thing. Let's look at all the naughty books packed together on this shelf. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not at all about British law either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Yeah, that's true. Let's see these. Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. But those gears are larger than anything you'll find on a steam locomotive even. It's airy. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean. Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size, and I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Then let's look at his chair. This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. It looks more like an over-the-top tombstone that toppled over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. Feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. I know, that's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. Let's converse with him. Actually, let's present something, you know what? Present! Lord Strongheart, may I show you this? To accept this item, issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my findings would require something in the region of 24 seconds of my time. Sorry? Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo? Let's leave it for now. Damn, man. Let's converse. London. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, help. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes, there's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history and will make Paris's World Affair look like a toy shop. Britain versus France always. I was gonna say Britain versus Paris and I'm like, what? Oh gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Also, it's England versus France, right? Sorry. Whatever, man. Britain is kind of confusing. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is in the center of the modern world. I don't know about that right now. even if you do say so yourself. Sun will never set on our great empire. Oh, boy, do I have bad news for you. Perhaps it is a fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Isn't Japan like the most technological advanced country right now? Or at least one of the most. My god, their technology is insane. Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Soki, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing, the news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. You tell me you're Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that is true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo, this is it then. Moment of truth. Okay, continuing the study tour. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Sogi. At least that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I stowawayed into a boat and now I'm here to take my friend's place. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? There's someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer. It's... I don't know what to... Oh, I'm not gonna... I really want to try, but no. I'm kind of scared of him, so I'm gonna do this. It's me. It's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say, and yet you claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Kazuma to help me, and I was the accused. We're glossing over the details. He doesn't need to know that. At least we were a lawyer. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Korea. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Sogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Oh, I'm actually gonna cry. Please! 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. Okay, so you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Sogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Wait, I didn't see it fully. No! I was reading it, man. I didn't see his expression very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? What is this test? So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Oh shit, we're gonna do a court trial. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. What? No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. Ah, I remember. It's a murder trial. And is it not a murder trial? A murder? Why are you shocked? The only trials we've been right now has been murder. An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say, but I should mention, just in case. If the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Okay, so death. Capital punishment, he'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably you read that much in your short C-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. You would be toying with the man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided oh my god, I've decided I can't say decided it's acceptable. Oh god. But you can't do that, can you? You'll never, these powers of authority can do whatever, you know. There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. The defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. Just great. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you have come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot Mr. Osogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? I'll do it for the plot. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire a ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm sorry, Mrs. Sato, but what could I do? It's alright, I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? Oh shit! I think what Mrs. Sato means is that no matter how badly I like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm gonna hide my thing in shame because I just wrote I'll do it for the plot. Oh man, and here they are, they're being so like righteous and like full of justice and like so correct, but I'm just doing it for the plot. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I am not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh shit. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence a judge can pass down. But that's awful! But that is the truth. Why did it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope? So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. And I agree, but in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh! Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourself. Brother, this is so tiring, man. He's gone. The Old Bailey. If you're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, you must leave at once. Okay, let us present. Mrs. Zato, can I just ask you something? Careful, from this position, I can perform Mrs. Zato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, do you heard Lord Strongheart? The trial starts imminently. If I need to throw you, I will. You know, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, it had better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Okay, can I converse with you? What to do? Mr. Zato, can I just ask you something? Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna ask you anything. Okay, let us move to the Old Bailey. Okay, I wanted to see what it was. What is the Old Bailey? Okay, it's the courtroom. Shit, I didn't even know that. 18th February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it. There's a guinea in it for you. One of my favorite lines from the Sherlock Holmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. We had to pay gold? How the fuck do we get gold? We're literally college students. How the fuck did we get gold? Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. Bro, I'll be puking up if I was in Inosuke's place. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the only one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? I don't know why I find him unsettling. There's something about the face. There's something about the face. That smile, that's like a... That smile, Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the East, are you? You're from Japan, yes? Ah, Japan is it, right. Say no more. You, so that's what you. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to a name, and all while in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. This grand! Why are you Jojo posing right now? Let me start by giving you the 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. Ah, 1,000 guineas? Please, Mrs. Zato, you don't have to shout. 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? Bro, take it, man. Take it. This is nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. With that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Then why the fuck do you have... Oh, that hit me in the eye. If you have so much money, why do you not have a defense attorney? Otherwise, unless you actually are like super fucked. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, this is a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me, good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'll be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh well, the thing is, don't worry about the thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Rustering blazes, do you not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? No, sorry, we have only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It's called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. An entire park in central London? City of Smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded won't do for the city and its square old people. Square... Bro, how do you speak, man? Also, that smile, man. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But they're annoying me now. Now they've got the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the London police, I ask you? You annoy me, man. Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo? Perhaps that would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'll be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh my god, you're annoying me! Ooh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This chancellor of a fella claims to have more money than the queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? True. Because he did it, that's the only explanation. Well... Exactly, I'm just gonna say. Yes, exactly. What now? Well, like you said, if you have all the money but you don't have anyone to represent you in court, there's no other logical conclusion that you're guilty of the charges. I mean, I'm just being honest. Well, you call a spade in the East, so you do. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean any offense. I still can't express myself very well in English, you see. And I'm never sure what's acceptable to say and what isn't so. Is that so? Because you sounded fluent enough when you were telling me what a blackguard I must be. I'm terribly sorry. I can't say that I blame you for thinking it, fella. It is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Oh shit, what's the Reaper? Sorry, did he just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Baroque von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. Is this my Edgeworth? The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? Oh, let's go. Edgeworth. When Van Zeek stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? It's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Baroque von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? Defendant is summoned and in his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel, that would be me. Oh, this time. Well then, fellow, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here, I made up me mind, so I had. Sorry? I decided I'll have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? But then you made an appearance, a student of law, wouldn't you know? It's no accident, I can assure you of that. It's fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo, the man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. Oh god, it's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma, because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm scared. Oh shit. 18th February, 10 AM. The Old Bailey. Courtroom. Okay, just courtroom. Oh shit. This is the highest court in Great Britain. The Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. Is the Old Bailey actually a thing in the UK? It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. Okay, let me just save actually. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? Oh god, we're 50-eyed again. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh shit. Oh, what? Santa Claus? And a vampire is my prosecutor? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Holy shit, sis. Okay, this is a much better Edgeworth, okay? The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. And he's hot, man! Counsel for defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh yes, of course, sorry. But he asked if defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Oh my god, he's so hot! Oh shit. This is so much better, Edgeworth. I'm sorry, Edgeworth. I fucking... Banziks. Oh my god. His eyes please me. Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Oh, the cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded? Yes, my lord? You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? I have always said, my lord, it is a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the far east. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give these less fortunate a fair chance? It's kinda... I don't know. He's also like complimenting and also like fucking dissing me for being from another country. I'd like to think that acts of chivalry to the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded, what a fine gentleman London... Okay, did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Well, please maybe go and play in McGilded Park? Seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, Santa Claus! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Okay, this is like the jury. Yes, my lord, if the task is to send daughters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. Okay. Alcoholic. That's very British. I feel a chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson. Ah, Mr. Naruto, those people are... The jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right, I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of the 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. The defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know. But I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yes. Prosecutor Van Zeeks. My lord, it's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you renounced your fame. Oh, your first time in a while? I am known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. 5 years? Okay, wait. Court record. People. He's 32. The other 16. I'm 24, right? Male Strongheart 52. McGilded 48. Hey, why do you look like this in 48 and he looks like this in 52? He is hot, man. I can stare at him. He's definitely my type. Oh god. So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? Oh shit. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. The Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruto. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. You must be the only one here who aren't aware. Incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. Okay, late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks, known in the community as thrice-fired mason. Sorry? Thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. A report prepared by the Scotland Yard, Scotland Yard coroner. It gives the cause of death as internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab to the abdomen. Okay, crime scene photograph. Photograph of the victim taken on the omnibus. The knife in this abdomen is clearly visible, but his face is partly obscured from the view by an old crooked hat. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilded's glove had blood on them? Okay, let me look at the court record. Let me examine. Let's see. Cosmo. Oh wait, this is my lawyer. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. The lawyer's name is embroidered on the inside here. Look, Kazuma Sogi. This was his band, of course. He had his heart set on the study store in Great Britain. I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here. But he lost his life before he even had the chance to see the place. I have such a strong sense of his hopes and dreams when I look at his armband, though. Aww. That's very sad. I don't know why I opened it. Victim name: thrice fired mason, male, age 54, occupation brickmaker, time and cause of death 15 February 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. Okay, got it. And this is his hat. His eyes are kind of weird. It looks like he doesn't have an eye. Like somebody took out the eye from him. Not gonna lie. And he was stabbed. Okay, he was stabbed. Anything else suspicious? See anything else suspicious? Okay, there's a button missing. But be just a fashion thing. I don't know. Yes, I would accept these as evidence as well. Leather gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. There is a blood stain on the right glove. How did I get into this? Okay, let me examine this as well. Let's see the blood stain. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come up grumbling now. No, by the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Ah, pity. Only he'd been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. There's blood. I'm backed into a corner before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Dead. Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded! To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. Whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken away with a fierce tiredness and I always succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? It's the motion of the carriage, my lord. Little thing so it is. And when I opened my eyes again, it was a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I've never laid eyes on before in me life? Was it? Oh my god. Now I ask you, what a good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I was about to start worrying about me gloves now. Was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. The blood got onto the gloves then after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses. To this precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Oh shit. Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. It's not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Why did I fuck it up, that statement? Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we'll hear the testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. What the fuck? The one guy is going to die, man. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. What's wrong with you, Beppo? I think you need another fucking blanket. I drive an omnibus in the East End. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. My name's first. Ladies first, okay. Got it. I make hats for agents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening. All of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir. That's right, sir. Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Oh, brother. What the witnesses saw. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus. And then I saw it too. An ambiguous testimony, I must say. Wait. In the guts. Is the abdomen and the guts the same thing? I'm assuming, yeah. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why? Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. We're gonna look like a dumbass. We're actually gonna look like a dumbass. How quaint. I've read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? No. Well, no. We have only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves. The actual scene of the crime, that is. What do you mean? The actual scene? How? The carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Yes. Omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today in this very building. Here? What? And the entire carriage? Bailiff! Bring forth the stricken omnibus. Oh shit, man! That's a big bus. Not bus. I mean, carriage. That's an omnibus. The omnibus? Can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside in the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the roof deck above. Oh! Every Londoner knows that the bus views of the city architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out that to our foreign guests, that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, a skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. Well, counsel, this is the first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. A full omnibus as an evidence, my god. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby firmly accepted as evidence. The 8-seater omnibus that was the scene of the crime, there were passengers both inside the carriage and on the roof deck that night. Can't believe it! The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Okay, I want to examine the carriage. That's a lot to be examined. Omnibus. Let's check this first. This is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. The people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them. I mean, that's better than the heat. That's much better than the heat. And they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. I guess that's it. Let's go check inside. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder. It's horrible. Hey, this is... The seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery, it would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Yeah, to an extent, I agree. The seat has a handle, it seems. Oh? This looks like all sort of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, shoeing tools, not teeth. It's a strange compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to store their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. Let's look this way. Blood. That's blood that's soaked in the seat. The victims, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Did you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, doesn't seem like it was planned attack. Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. A lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. It looks like the Eiffel Tower for some reason. Oh, the Crystal Tower, it's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzling with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Okay, so I don't see anything else. That is interesting. Let's look at the skylight. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin at least. I think I'm done. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Let's continue with proceedings then. Your cross-examination, counsel. Pray don't expect this Nipponese straight to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights. Oof! Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. I would slap myself too. Focus, Renosuke. Focus! Cross-examination. Holy shit! We're doing a British court now! It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers I remembered well. Not present, sorry. I mean, press.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's right, yes. Ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact. You can shift. Oh, interesting. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct? Yeah, yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though. No. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place? No one alighted, for example? You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No. None. And nobody fled the scene of the crime then. I have to say the boss insists on it running, he does, every evening, that last bus of the day. Aww, but I do wonder sometimes it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20p on the run, you see. Oh, the pence, sorry, not p's, pence. Yes, I spent that much at the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again. Oh, that's so sad. I'm actually sad. Okay, let's press this. And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage? That's right, when you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. Oh. Two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. That doesn't look like McGilded. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded. It doesn't look like Mr. McGilded. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. Really, it doesn't look like Mr. McGilded. And out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. Let's press this.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Or are fair dinkum hardworking city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail if that's... My lord! Juror number 3? What's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me. Hey man, don't be so rude, man. There's no point in wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. Bro, we just started, man. We just started. What is happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6th member of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice as we saw a moment ago. So if the enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean sent to guilty? Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. Very well. The court acknowledges the change and the jury stands. Counsel for the defense, please continue with the cross-examination. This is a nightmare. Okay, that's right, I stabbed him. I screamed at it, couldn't help it. No, go back.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say, and you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about a new hat design, you see, but just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right from his belly, that huge great knife. A grim sight indeed. Ah, that didn't help me at all. Oh shit. Jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious than Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First. Oh, yes, sir. Is this the knife you saw? Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. The very one, sir. Is that... Yes, counsel, this is a blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. That is a blade of considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar. Wait. It says male strong heart. Are there any M? There's no other thing. Bro, I don't know why I feel he's so suspicious, man. Oh, please, no. M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
That was a very light objection, but there are M's everywhere. Like, yes, like in Mason.
Objection!
Oh shit. This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Don't have any proof for that. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel. Our largest knife that was found lodged in the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornamentation suggests it must be quite valuable. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Juror number 2. Go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. Bro, why are you making a decision before we even started, man? No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and crime. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in position to draw the only logical conclusion. Oh, we haven't even finished, bitch! No, not again! That's 4 out of 6 jury members who have proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. Added, every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. Speaking of more information, let's examine the knife. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades. Oh, those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Okay. Anything of importance other than this? Oh, that looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood. The victim's... an English man's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. I think it wouldn't. Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. Come on, we need more information. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus and then I saw it too.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And then the other passenger had a knife in his hand and I like this. By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then the plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What? Isn't the abdomen and belly different? Is the belly a stomach? My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you two, as the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I have heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say. No, please just keep it open-minded a little long. Gay up now, Silverblaze, the finish is in sight. Holy lady, please. Old lady, please. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. Ugh, this is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agreed to condemn this man. Old lady. Old lady, please! Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear. What can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand. Oh yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. Then, pray tell, why you yet to pronounce the leaning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Although maybe go to the McGilded Public Library later and borrow some more books. How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of a man is he? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. Where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What? Stone the crows! McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest. His victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. The faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make the use of a public omnibus service? Not saying that the victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist, pretender Magnus McGilded. No, I'm not getting convinced, man. He's kind of bad, man. That's bad. I don't believe it.
Hold it!
If I might add something briefly, Miss Susato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded. Where is the evidence to support your claim? Oh shit. He needs to get the alcohol in hand, man. Oh god. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law. Aha! There it is! Lord Van Zeek's hallowed chalice. Oh, he's like a vampire, man. How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I'd heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage. I didn't expect to experience it myself. As judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is a debtor's ledger which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh! Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. A catalogue of people who had borrowed money from the defendant at high rate of interest. It includes the victim who owed 20 guineas. Ah, yes, 20 guineas. Victim owed a considerable sum. Let's read it. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you will not find Mr. Shobe's name inside. But let's see what we find. I can barely read anything. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's name, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness! What is it? Look at this! Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. He's one of the witnesses. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. Yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? He bought the 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. Possible that this is just a coincidence, of course. But this could be a very useful information. So like if he killed like this thing, then the Mason guy, then that means McGilded will go to jail and then he'll not have to pay. That's probably it, right? And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Regrettably, madam, this is the modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little park too. What a scoundrel! What a scoundrel! Wait. Still. Maybe it's all for the best. Ah! Wait a minute! Let's think about this a little more before. I don't stand for nonsense. Oh shit. We are fucked. Woo! That was it. The last juror's decision. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. The final verdict. It's over then. Oh! There's a footnote though. A footnote. However, defense... Wait, I want to hear! All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. Miss Zato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in the Encyclopedia of British Law, however, the defense? What did it say next? Oh yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. And the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Oh! Examine the jurors. A summation. Examination?
Objection!
A summation examination? From which century has that tome have there been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say that the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. But it's in the laws, so you can't think. So you're out of luck. Unless it's stated in the law, you can't do that. Oh. What even is it, Mrs. Atto? The so-called summation examination? Oh, one moment and I'll read about it. You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails? Typical Nipponese. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure we would be able to appeal to the members of the juries. Do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change the leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that... If successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse the decisions. Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a submission examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit really. It rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough to let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. Yo! What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Summation examination, our last possible option. We assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat. I will assert our right, obviously. Defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial. Defense petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with a summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Eh? Well, I'm not, There was no mention of this in the letter I received, so you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached a decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before. I don't really hold with all of this justifying lark. That seems to have thrown the jurors off. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then, a summation examination? A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilded guilty of this most serious crime. Judicial findings. Lots of new mechanics. That's very interesting. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuffed the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. It beggars belief. You didn't stab him on the floor. I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. And the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their mind. I have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to throw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they are unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they have reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. And what on earth am I supposed to do? Evidence. Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. Oh? What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, we then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh yes, I suppose you're right. I feel 2 statements were a bit, I have to see through it again though. Find contradiction in the statement and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this, expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Yo. Pence's rebuttal. Okay. I cannot press them, right? Okay, pit. Oh wait, I can press them.
Hold it!
Certainly, the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilded were alone inside the carriage. Precisely my point. But, could there be some other explanation? Something we haven't considered yet? Such as... perhaps that's something we could, all work out together now. Now listen here, maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. But we're here to form our opinions as individuals, and I have. Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he? No, I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Suzato-san said. Finding contradictions in these 6 people's assertions is the only way I'm going to succeed. I trust the driver, he had an excellent memory. It seems 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence.
Hold it!
But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is? I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts. I see. A single penny can mean the difference between life and death, after all, can't it? That's a saying in your country? My point is, the man who minds his figures is the man you can trust. Those of us in service would swear to that, sir. Does that bench really need any more polishing? So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilded in the act, I don't doubt him. Only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish. Oh, now wait a minute. One of the other jurors mentioned something about money, I think. Yeah, he said they only charge 4 pence. And if it's 4 people, oh my god, I cannot do maths. Then it will be 16, right? Not 20. Now would be a very good time to listen carefully to the juror's statement again, Mr. Naruhodo. You notice an inconsistency in 2 different jurors are saying. I should expose it by pitting them against each other. Yes, let's see if I can do just that. Tuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen.
Hold it!
Careful, you could hurt somebody with that. You're a fine one to talk. What of that sword hanging from your waist, honey? No, that's just my battered soul. Oh. But anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same. All stabbing some brickmaker or other behind the scene, you mark my words. That seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Are you mad, man? You know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock. Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but... Mr. Naruhodo, please be careful what you say. If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned... That's guilty as sin. The man can hang. Come to think of it, didn't one of the jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhand activities? You thought of something, Mr. Naruhodo? Then don't let it go. Test your theory. I was thinking of these 2 particularly. With the 2 jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. No time like the present to use why to pit them. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
Hold it!
What have you been doing all this time? What have you been doing all this time? There. I should have thought it was obvious. I'm recording everything that takes place as part of these proceedings. And what have you learned from that? For example, at this moment in time, the judge has used his gavel 11 times in total. The prosecution has snorted derisively at a remark 7 times in total. And I might add, each time you have gawped like a simpleton. Thank you. And what's the point exactly? Anyway, madam, are you able to explain why you think the defendant is guilty? That is a conclusion I've drawn as a result of the copious notes I've typed. Clearly, but I'm asking you to explain why you have drawn that conclusion. Please don't distract me. It makes it extremely hard to concentrate on my note-keeping. This is going nowhere. This is the guy I have to do with the maid, and I think the old lady I have to do with the knife guy. You can trust the guild. Fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. This is the...
Hold it!
That's how much it costs to take the omnibus? That's right. As the guildmaster, I decided to set a policy for all drivers across the city. One fare, one no matter which bus you take or how far you're going. You have to compete with the rise of the motor car, you see. Us coachmen have to make a stand together. Motor cars, you say? Yes, and this is murder on one of our buses is extremely damaging to our cause. It's beyond the pale. It'll lead to a decline in passengers, you mark my words, and it's all that rascal's fault, and he has to pay. The crime or his buses he's more worried about. Anyway, every member of my guild is reliable and trustworthy. If the driver says he saw him do it, that fellow in the dock is as guilty as sin. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor, it beggars belief. This is also questionable. I really think you should stop waving that needle around. You heard what the good coachman said before, didn't you? That hideous man stabbed that poor fellow, just like this. Yes, that is what he said, you're right. McGilded Park is such a lovely little place too. I've always enjoyed resting my legs there while I get on with my knitting. And I had the thought that anyone who donated such a delightful place must be a fine fellow indeed. I suppose I was wrong. Aww. Whoever would have thought he was a miserable, murdering moneylender with not a scrap of remorse? Oh, hell. She's as sure as she can be that he's guilty now. Old lady certainly seems to know her mind, doesn't she? So, we just need to find 2 jurors with contradictory statements and pit them against each other. It's so much easier said than done. Is that perhaps what you were just thinking? How did you know? Well, I took the liberty of doing some research in case you happen to find yourself in such a situation. First step is to listen very carefully to what each individual juror has to say, and I'm sure you'll start to see which ones might not quite agree with each other. Alright then, let's get this right now, so I never have to listen to that long and boring explanation again. That's the spirit. Okay, let's pit the maid with this dude, or the carriage dude. Pit.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Silverblaze's name and name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we have heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. Oh dude, I love the walking back and forth. Oh my god, that's so cool. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have this precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is, a fair and convenient single price. That's the way London's carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication... it would be 16 pence. Exactly, as I said, it doesn't add up. These figures are different. By 4 pence in fact, or precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare? Yes! In other words, on the omnibus that night. It's distinctly possible. There was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Oh yeah! Shit! Holy shit! I just thought that they were like I thought that, the carriage driver just gave more money. Like, in the sense, asked for more money. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. The figures the coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy. I beg your pardon? Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of a coachman tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Oh shit. Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo? Damn. This is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Yay! For the love of Mike, not you as well. A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Narhodo, you did it. If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then where's your... Then that's where you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions. Exactly! You can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Okay, there's one more. Let's pit this chap with the old lady.
Objection!
These 2 statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel, post-haste. Oh dearie me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3... What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Want to test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like the prim pranker he said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do you for, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. Nope, the coachman said so. Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? That's my stitches. What a muddle. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. The scales. I don't believe it. Let's go. 10, 10, 10, 10. Wait. Oh shit, I pressed the wrong button. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. Are you crazy? I could use magic. Do you really think I'll be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, Dark Jinx. My god, Jesus. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus. The young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and his old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why I should take this knife to you? Who are you calling old? Why I should take this needle to you? They are ready to kill each other now. But could the four men of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? It's out of the question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you Dark Jinx? Come on, out with it. Hey, Jesus, bro. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What? What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's the evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I see the two witnesses say two different moments of the same crime. Okay, that's out of the question. Show me some proof. It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime as proven by this. Single stab wound to the abdomen. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. You've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We have won! Oh, let's go, man. What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if this chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade, oh my god, and shave every last hair off his head. Jeez! Oh my god, bro! Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to abdicate, and the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. I need alcohol as well. I don't know how Naruto's hair is not just flying off, because I would be so stressed. Oh, I was not expecting that. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! Is it cold in here or is it just me? As the antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination, so I honor a deathly silence and listen to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Oh my god. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Oh shit! The court is going off! Oh my god! Bring forth the witnesses once more! Hey! Witnesses? I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure? Oh, yes, sir, that I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir. I feel so sad for him, though, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to wield the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh, mio dio, Mio dio, is it French? I don't even know. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. We'll explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear, but that was my original thought. He probably took more money because they're not getting paid enough. Oh, that's so sad, though. I'm so sad. Oh my god. Well, we need to unionize. But I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. You think so? Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom 5th passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's slight little cousinage. Beppo, explain yourself. I am terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you have been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo, a disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild. No, don't be like that. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. The counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. You've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. I do feel very bad for Beppo. Various misgivings. Okay, let us press on Beppo.
Hold it!
So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. I was so cold. It's all I could do to stop myself passing out. I'm getting chill brains just listening to you. It was terrible, so I want to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. Only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have had another suspect. Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. Oh wait, no, let me go back.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir. And I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5 pence across the board. It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead, and buried. Why is he so hot? I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken. Oh well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Good gracious, really? You have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. Maybe Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. So, you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him? That's what I said, isn't it? It was bothering me before this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet zero evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white, the man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. Oh yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. You think so? Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding a knife in an ice-pick grip. I suppose I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, sir, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. In short, I didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really thought that I did, but when I go over again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I? Oh, shit. Pursue.
Excuse me.
Why are you pulling your mustache? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Would he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? I'm a save, actually. No chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is. Oh? Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, have you know? And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as a Ballarod day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, alright. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'll forget the sight of these blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? It was gloves, but okay. Blood-soaked? Ahem, well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight? Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. And there was a lamp on inside the carriage as well. So I'm quite sure of what I saw. This banker's latest statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Narhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record. Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we have managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't wait. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light. If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful as they did before. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information. Yes, you're so right. I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as the reason. Okay. Let's go. And let us present. This.
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands? Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. 4 of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. Ugh! He's fucking biting his skin. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. But it can't be right. Sure, you're the liar here then. That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls the entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth? Oh, guy,
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was in both hands. It was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, sorry. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding member of society don't prevaricate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Narhodo, if you had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. I have evidence! It's the leisure book or whatever. My lord. Yes, counsel? The defense is ready to present evidence. My Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in this testimony. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. Evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court. This. Among the defendant's list of debtors is Bruce Fairplay, who would have been due to repay his loan eminently.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Oh shit! What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas, not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would have become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between 2 individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, would be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, Is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen nothing you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Order, order, order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implication upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilded's hands. Both of them. And yet only one of the defendant's gloves which we have here as evidence is stained. So you keep saying... I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir? Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all of you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yes. Miss Naruhodo, good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Witness testimony. Let's go. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself, no, not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold. In truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Okay, let's press what the witnesses really saw.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. You have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw, but why? Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well as you know. But for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from the financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a victor this weekend, that's a sure thing. A guinea or 10? I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I bought little spending money for the weekend. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? I remember seeing the knife and I remember seeing both of the attackers' hands with blood on them.
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves has any signs of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir, and I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. I don't know how it's connecting though. I didn't actually see anything myself, no, not until I heard that scream. You didn't see anything? Oh yes sir, that is to say, no sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before sir, very sorry CS. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and I say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No sir, I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? What? Oh my god, oh please, you didn't even see that? It was so cold that night, you see, it was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppo? Oh, I feel so sad for Beppo. Anyway, the fact remains there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen it.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus? That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. But I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right, and it's a public bus service for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin. I thought I heard a ding. I can assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in the cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They might not have been able to because there's a compartment in that carriage. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight at the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there was a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. That all at that at the time of the incident there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? This?
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here. Oh, you mean that also? Like, for example, like I was thinking of this as well, but I thought that was very obvious. But I also thought like maybe if you just peer into it like straight down like this, you could probably see both of them. I guess I was thinking too hard, but either way I was correct. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you are able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't think I can. I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I don't think we have any clue. I'm going to say I have no idea. I have literally no idea. But as a proud citizen of Japanese Empire, you will look to the sky and walk on, making sure all signs of tears are gone. Go on. This isn't just a case of going on, Miss Suzato. Alright then, I'll go on. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. A response for the desperate attempt by a man who has the notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. Wait, what? This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night of the murder, the person occupied the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... Bro, I got no clue. I genuinely got no clue. Eh? It can't be these two. It can't be the driver. It obviously can't be one Zeke's. It can't be Magnus? Yeah, if he's sitting on the like we saw on that photo, if he's sitting on the, he probably was sitting on the opposite side. And the guy who was sitting next to the Mason, he didn't look like Magnus McGilded. So maybe it's him.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see, has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant. Okay, thank God I was right.
Objection!
Oh, If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations in the far east as having a learning and culture of their own, but I see why they use the term ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as itself might understand. See, it's not not Van Zeek, sorry. It's not, oh god, I forgot his name. The McGilded guy. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, the testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and the testimony reveals the truth. There was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hand, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary. Oh my god. Order, order, order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
Defense postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them though. Yes, that's right, both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sirs. What particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen spot, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused Mr. McGilded would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation? That the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he travelled? Ah! I think this is where the place that that seat opening thing is. He's right. If there was another person travelling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order. There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no an uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGill to testify or not? Oh, you want to demand his testimony? Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say! It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say, oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to stand at once. Oh my god. Or maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. that proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure, I have, my lord. There are now two matters in which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Begad, no, it is not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I have been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you so all or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true? Ay, and 'twas me who had that little urchin get away after it all happened. You? What? No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was... well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the V1 was there, they'll have assumed she'd done it. They'll have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
You have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? 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 Ah, fire! There's a fire! Look, someone's trying to get away. After them, it's no use. I can't see anything through all the smoke. What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Nahudu. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. They were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. To be continued. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Jesus. Holy shit, I'm tired. This actually exhausts me. But I've been doing very well, I think. I've been doing pretty okay. My reasonings have been good. I think so. Wait, if it's a young child, then they can most 100% fit in that the chair openings place, the storage area. Because I mean, I feel like an adult can think, but it will be a very big tight squeeze. But then if a child can do it, then I think they'll fit in there. So that's my theory for now. And that's all for today. I'm dead. Bye bye.